some that I've broken, but I swear on the days still left, we walk in fields of gold. We walk in fields of gold. Now many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down among the fields of gold. You'll remember me when the west wind moves upon the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold.
Every breath you take.
Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. And every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you. Oh, can't you see? You belong to me. And my poor aches with every step you take, every move that you make, every vow you break, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Since still gone, I've been lost without a trace. I dream at night, I can only see your face. I look around, but I still can't replace. I feel so cold and I embrace. I keep crying, baby, baby. Can't you see? You belong to me. And my poor heart aches with every step you take, every move that you make, every vow you break, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every move you make, every step you take, I'll be watching you. And I'll be watching every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, every single day. every word you sing, every game you play, every night you stay, every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, every single day, every word you say, every game you play. I'll be watching you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. And I don't know whether many people know here tonight, but you've got to be back on stage for your national tour in 20 minutes. Is that right?
I have an audience waiting for me already. I'm sorry. Have a nice night, but I have to leave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Sting. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Sting.
Can I ask one question, please, Sting? It was wonderful of you to be here tonight.
Nice dress.
Was it lovely to catch up with the princess?
To catch up, yeah, she looked very nice, actually.
Good friend of yours, isn't she?
I've met her a couple of times, yeah.
It was very generous of you. I know you're in a hurry tonight.
Oh, it's easy for me. I just sing. It's that easy.
Well, it's for a fantastic cause, and I'm sure everyone appreciated your time tonight.
Great.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much, Sting.
All the proceeds from tonight go to the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute. But to remain at the cutting edge of a disease that can affect all...
It's my pleasure to introduce a man I've known for over 20 years now. Ever since he left the rough and tumble of state politics, he has devoted himself to a number of causes, worthy causes, including this one. Would you please welcome the former Premier of New South Wales and Chairman of the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute, the Honourable Neville Rand.
Got to get my breath back. Princess, ladies and gentlemen, tonight bears the hallmark of what can be a truly remarkable occasion. Fine food and wine, good companionship, great music and entertainment, pink champagne, a beautiful princess, and the prospect that any speakers, apart from the princess, will be mercifully brief. Tonight is merely the beginning of a long and exciting adventure, an adventure which we hope will mark a new era in medical research in this country. Most of all, I should like to thank the princess. We know that 17,000 kilometres is a long way to travel for dinner, but we couldn't have hoped to achieve the level of financial and moral support represented by the people here tonight, Princess, without your presence. I might add that the Princess herself has made a very generous financial contribution to the Institute, and for that, and her presence, and her consideration, we who are committed to the Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute and St. Vincent's Hospital will be forever grateful. It's now my privilege to invite Diana, Princess of Wales, to speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, as many of you may recall, it has been 8 years since I last had the pleasure of visiting this special continent. However, it speaks volumes for the people of Australia that despite the passage of time, you still both recognize and remember me. It takes just a brief glance at the television or the newspapers to realize that much of the news is sad news. From international affairs to domestic disputes, there is so much to be concerned about. It is, of course, the duty of those who work as professional journalists to convey reality. But I'm sure you'd agree that much of the news does have a ring of negativity about it, which is why I was so glad to accept this invitation to come here tonight. Because, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have some good news to celebrate. The Victor Chang Cardiac Research Institute is quite literally a positive news story. But good news for whom and why? First, I would suggest it's good news for all Australians. In your country, heart muscle failure is the most common cause of hospital admission for people over the age of 65. Every week, 200 Australians die of heart failure. But those statistics are now being attacked by the work of the Institute. Research is continuing into the causes and variation of heart disease. And those who suffer are now being offered some of the most advanced medical care available anywhere in the world. Secondly, it's also good news for those medical professionals who are at the forefront of research into the functions of the heart. The Institute has developed itself to studying the working and diseases of the heart. It is researching the effectiveness of cardiac drugs, and it is developing different surgical approaches which can mean the very difference between life and death, extending life expectancy and improved quality of life. At the Victor Chang Institute, your most gifted doctors and academics can gather together in the pursuit of greater knowledge and understanding. The Institute is good news for grooming the professionals and serving well the patients. And finally, the Institute is good news for the memory of one particular person. Just over 5 years ago, a doctor tragically died. Just the passing of one doctor, you might think. But no, this man was no ordinary cardiac surgeon. He was a visionary. He could see where, as yet, there was nothing to see. He was a pioneer. He went first, before the crowds gathered. He was an original thinker and a great team leader. His mind was not fixed on the traditional ways of doing things. Ladies and gentlemen, that man, as all of you know, was Dr. Victor Chang. And this is another reason why the Institute is good news. It helps us to remember Dr. Chang's great talent and service as he established Australia's National Heart Transplant Programme back in 1984. It helps us draw inspiration from his leadership as he sought to realize the dream of a world-class research institute dedicated to the fight against heart disease. It helps us keep going in the face of challenges. Recalling how Dr. Chang not only labored in the operating theatre,